Am I the a-hole for informing my parents that my 21F best friend, 21M, kicked me out of our apartment because his girlfriend, 21F, asked him to? Sorry, bit of a confusing title, but this is still fresh and I'm still dealing with things. I'm just using this to get this off my chest mainly, but if I can get some validation too, then that'd be good. So I have been friends with Mike, fake name, for 16 years. We became friends officially in kindergarten, but our parents were college friends. I honestly can't even call him a best friend. He's like a sibling, and in a way we were raised as siblings. Group family holidays, sleepovers, family vacations on both sides. At one point we even all lived together for a year. I'm saying this because I know some people will ask. No, there's been no crushes or feelings on either side, at all. We haven't kissed, confessed feelings, or had crushes. It's been strictly sibling-like, and I'm saying that now because of what Mike's girlfriend has been saying. Me and Mike share an apartment together near campus as we both attend college together. Around 7 months ago, Mike met his girlfriend April, fake name. Now, I thought we got along okay. I've only met her a couple of times because she has anxiety, but I had no problem at all with her until recently besides some minor things. Sometimes, she would interject when Mike would call me his sister. It wasn't always, but normally like, well, technically you aren't siblings, which is 100% true, but it's how we viewed each other since we were kids. So almost a month ago, my class got canceled so I came home early. I walk in and right on the couch is Mike and April having sex. I scream, run to my room, and frantically yell at Mike via text. He apologized, said he thought I would be gone longer. I made him clean the couch, all good right? No, April for some reason got upset and felt that, her words, I did that on purpose, despite it never happening before, and that it was inappropriate of me to walk in on them. Again, this was in the living room, absolutely disgusting in my opinion, but I moved on. Because it's not a big deal, embarrassing, but nothing crazy. Anyway, Mike has been stressed recently because April had been asking him to distance from me. I thought she was just embarrassed, which I'd understand. So I tried being friendly and apologized. Well, last weekend, Mike sat me down and basically said that I had to move out because his girlfriend was upset with me living with him. I was floored. I got so upset. I don't think I've yelled and cried that much in my life. The basics is that he doesn't want me to, but he's pressured from his girlfriend and he really loves her, so he wants to make her happy. He thinks that this shouldn't change our friendship and that he's just putting some distance between us. See, if he had asked me to move out, I'd understand. Okay, yeah, maybe you want to take your relationship to the next level, okay. But it was a demand. And not only that, he wanted to put space between our friendship. It was so fucking hurtful. I've known him for 16 years and that's it? I'm gone for someone he's known for 7 months? I said he was choosing a short relationship over his sister, and that I don't want him to contact me if he's going to be like that. He said I was overreacting, but I called my parents and got them to pick me up. Literally, thank God they don't live far away. But like, what if they did? What did he expect me to fucking do? Just sleep outside or something? Anyway, I obviously had to tell my parents what was going on given they had to pick me up and I was an emotional mess. I told them everything, which caused a bit of an argument when they want to pick up some of my things the next day. They called Mike's parents and kind of chewed them out a little, and from my understanding they called Mike and did the same. Mike messaged me to say that he was upset I couldn't be civil, and that he feels like I'm throwing away a friendship. I blocked him shortly after. I've taken some time off classes, but I'm so fucking hurt and upset. It hurts that he could just throw me away so easily. I don't think I did anything wrong telling my parents, but I think it may have crossed a line when they phoned Mike's parents. Like I said previously, our parents are really close, and it's kind of messed with their friendship now. His parents have been really kind and apologetic, even though it's not their fault, and a part of me feels like I made this into a bigger mess. Sorry if it's a bit chaotic. I'm on the phone and still a bit emotional. Also, I know I didn't have to leave. Me and Mike both pay an equal amount of rent for the apartment, but I didn't want to stay in a place that I wasn't wanted. It would have just made it difficult and worst-case scenario, he'd leave, which would have put a financial strain on me. TLDR, I walked in on my friend, practically sibling, having sex with his girlfriend in the living room. His girlfriend is uncomfortable now and thinks I did it on purpose. My friend asked me to move out, so I told my parents, who told his. He's upset I couldn't be civil. Edit. I read you all loud and clear. Thank you for waking my ass up. I've talked to my landlord. She said that she was uncomfortable with April moving in because she doesn't know her. I understood. So I am moving my ass back tomorrow. I unblocked Mike and informed him. I explained that until our landlord says otherwise, I'm staying. Either he can leave and get a new place and keep paying the rent, or we can end our agreement together, and if our landlord agrees they can start one. He replied, okay. We can talk about it tomorrow so, we see. Thank you all so much for getting me up and going. I really had no idea how serious this situation could be until you all let me know how stupid I was being. I don't care if it's uncomfortable. I'm not wasting my money. Update 1. Thank you all for the amazing advice. I was hesitant to even upload on Reddit, but I'm really glad I did. I honestly can't believe how naive I was, and you all probably saved me a lot of trouble. So, on to the update. I came back to the apartment yesterday morning. I let Mike know beforehand and asked if April not be there so we could talk alone. Mike was quite emotional and apologetic, which surprised me a little. I found out a bit more information that makes a bit more sense now. Mike has been under a lot of pressure for a while not to drop me. He thought that me moving out and distancing himself would be enough to appease April while still keeping our friendship. Obviously, he didn't expect me to take it the way I did, although what other way would I take it? And he didn't expect me to leave that day. I mean, yeah, he didn't specifically say, pack your shit and leave now, but saying you need to leave. And saying that he wanted distance over our 16-year relationship out of nowhere makes me feel like I couldn't have just gone to bed normally, you know? I've read everyone's comments so many times. I've drilled it into my head. So as much as it hurts, I'm keeping my distance from Mike at the moment. The fact that he never once told me about April wanting him to not talk to me, and he didn't even consider my circumstances before asking me to leave. Where else could I go? It's not a definite end of our friendship, but I'm not feeling pretty positive. Anyway, he's apologized. He said that he missed me while I was gone, and that he knew he fucked up after he told me to leave, but that he just wanted to make April happy since he could see a future with her. April has lost her shit, to put it mildly, and she threw up a storm in the lobby of our apartment last night. Mike refused to let her in, which understandably made her lose her shit even more. Tons of colorful words thrown about on both ends. I'm a homewrecker, a whore, a bitch, which is laughable. Anyway, she's not to be allowed into our apartment now, period. At least until he decides on their relationship. Mike has been pretty upset today. He wants space from April because he said that he wants to end the relationship. Very surprising, but I'm cautiously optimistic, since I'm not sure how willing he'll be. We've had a bit of a heart-to-heart. Regardless of how upset and hurt I am, he's my brother. I'm trying to be a bitch like I wanted to when I moved back in, but it's so fucking hard when he's all mopey and sad. I told him that if he continues seeing her, I'm putting some distance between us respectfully to avoid this happening again. He said he doesn't want that. I talked with my landlord before moving back. She didn't want April moving in as she doesn't know her. She was a bit upset that this situation was happening as she didn't want a drama, which I understand. I've moved back and I've discussed the lease with Mike. We renew in September, or that was the plan. So now we're deciding on how to go ahead. I feel like it'll be best for me to get my own place. Maybe this was long overdue, to be honest. Although Mike is saying that he wants us to continue being roommates next year. So we're discussing this at the moment. It's not really a super dramatic update, but at least the leasing issue has been solved. I'm not being kicked out or leaving until our lease is done. April isn't coming over for the foreseeable future. Only issue right now is my relationship with Mike. It's very awkward in the apartment. You can tell something's changed. He's been trying to be friendly like we were before all of this, and he's apologized a lot, which I appreciate. But I'm finding it a bit difficult to move on and go back to normal. I'm not being a bitch or mean, just slightly distant. Anyway, that's the update. I really want to thank you all again for making me realize how serious this could be. I honestly had no idea that you couldn't just switch who was renting, which is so embarrassing. Also, to that one woman in my DMs and comments spam messaging me, you're insane. I don't know who hurt you, but get a life, please. This isn't even that serious. Story 2. I, 25F, can't get over the fact that my boyfriend, 26M, of 2 years told me that my now colleague is the only 10 he knows of. Short background. Me and John met at uni during our bachelor's degree. He was in a relationship with someone else until the last year, and we started dating about 6 months after that. I have never been this happy in a relationship before, and we're on the same page about everything regarding future plans. I honestly feel like I'm behaving super silly, but given how long it's been, I think I need some outside perspective. This conversation happened almost 2 years ago. At the time, we weren't official yet, but had been dating for a while and were on our first vacation together. We were talking about looks in general, and as a game, he asked me to rate myself on a scale from 1 to 10, and I, in turn, asked him back. Then he asked who I thought was a 10. I've always thought that the only people who are 10s are celebrities, because they get paid to look good plus photoshopped and whatnot. I just mentioned 1 or 2. I of course asked him back, and he said, well, I think Julie is a definite 10. So my heart sinks, because Julie was also in our class. I never knew her that well, a couple of conversations over the years, but she was never that involved in after-class activities or anything. And, as it happens, I had previously picked up on the fact that he seemed annoyed about the fact that she never joined the social stuff. As I aspire to approach situations as dramaless and logical as possible, I just say that I agree that she is good-looking. The thought nagged at me for a long while, but I decided to try and ignore it as best as possible while knowing that we just had a few months left until summer and everyone had their degree. In the fall, I started my awesome job. There were 2 positions available when I applied, and guess who got the other one? Yes, you are correct, it was Julie. So now, we are colleagues and I see her every damn day. She's nice and we get along well. But the fact that I have to see her every day ends up in me comparing us, and I am so annoyed with myself for it. And like 2 to 4 times a month, I'm in bed, and the comment pops into my head and my heart sinks. So a few months ago, after a lot of drinks and our first real discussion about something unrelated, but sort of tangential, so I brought it up. Keep in mind, things were a bit heated due to the other discussion. I said something along the lines of, I know this might be stupid to bring up, as there isn't really anything you can do about it, but it's been bothering me. And after I explained, he looked me in the eye, said, well, I can't do anything about that. I think Julie is the perfect 10. So, let's just say that didn't help. So, I've obviously thought about this a lot, and I think one of the main reasons this is nagging at me in the degree it is that I've never been one to focus too much on looks. I do my makeup in like 5 minutes and just put clothes on without much thought. It's honestly something I've always prided myself on, considering the people I hung around with while growing up, who did care a lot. John, however, cares about looks. And this is also the first relationship I'm in where I'm honestly afraid that I'm the party with more feelings than the other, which was exacerbated by the fact that I had to push for us to become official due to him saying it wasn't really that important being official, and because he felt it was a very short time after his relationship with his ex ended. So kind people of Reddit, please give me some advice on how to forget this or handle it in a better way than I'm doing now. TLDR. My boyfriend told me another girl, who was a classmate of ours at the time and is now my colleague, was the only perfect 10 he knew of. Edit. Just to make this clear, I agree the rating system is immature. A lot of people are however saying I should dump him over this, and I just want to make it clear that you are now reading the worst thing that has happened during our relationship, which I honestly think is a good indication that we really do have a great relationship. While I agree it was a thoughtless thing of him to say, at this point, this is really my problem. I've gotten some good advice and observations in the comments, and I'm trying to reply to some of them. Thank you. Edit 2. I'm seeing a lot are commenting on the timing of when I brought the issue up, so I should probably explain why I felt it was tangential to our conversation at the time. When I said he cares about looks, it's mostly due to his passion for clothes. While it's not one of my own interests, I've actually learned a great deal about it during our time together and respect the fact that he cares. We were meeting a couple who were friends of his, and it was my first time meeting them. He told me as I was coming out of the shower that I should mind what I was putting on, and to remember that they too care about fashion, which he knows that I do not, which honestly pissed me off and made me feel less than. So I brought it up when we came home. Anywho, I'm having trouble following all the comments, but I'm trying to read all of them. Thanks again to everyone who's bothered replying. Update 1. It's a bit hard to remember details after 5 years, but we had a big blowout sometime after I posted this. I snapped at one point after he pushed the issue when I had told him I didn't want to talk about it, and ended up telling him how mean that was. AITAH the later comment. Well, I can't do anything about that. I think Julie is the perfect 10, and how insecure it made me. He realized that the comment was unnecessary and apologized. However, I just got into a funk for a couple of days after the confrontation, partly due to the comments on this post that were quite harsh. He got super worried when I was subdued after 3 or so days, and he apologized profusely and said he would work on his stubbornness, communication, and be better at complimenting me. In addition, he explained that the comment was partly due to the style of communication he and his ex had, where each of them just dug themselves deeper into their positions when they had any sort of disagreement. And I'm happy to say that he did improve massively. He is still stubborn and can still quickly go on the offense in discussions we have. But we are now married, he proposed, have a 1.5-year-old boy, and we are happy. This remains one of our biggest arguments to date. Side note: I changed jobs, but so did Julie, and we ended up at the same firm again. So we are still colleagues. But there are 1,000 plus people at our office, so I don't see her as much nowadays. I still catch myself interested in what she posts on SM, but that's about it. I rarely think about her or this situation. TLDR. We are happy, got married, had a baby.